God damn it. I gotta look at this real quick.
God.
Whoa, what the motherfuck? Who's this motherfucking motherfucker? Oh my god, that's so great! Why, hello there. Welcome. Please, get yourself out of the bad weather and join us for another rainy day reading. Before we introduce our manga and our guests, apologies for the almost month absence, but new year, new manga, we're back, fresher than ever, and we, of course, brought Johnathan on to talk about a shonen manga he hates.
Yes, I do not like this series.
As you can tell, our guest tonight is Johnathan Carl. How are you doing, sir?
I am dreading going back to school, otherwise fine. Oh, and I also have like 5 kitties in my bath that are making a noise, so if you hear anything on my end, it's the kitties.
We will always accommodate kitties, as we will puppies, and you know this. This is a policy. We also have David O'Neill. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm here to be the one who takes guilty pleasure in the dumb shonen manga.
Yes. As David just revealed, we are tackling a... So, here's the thing. I was looking at the fact that we got an episode beginning of the year, and I'm just kind of thinking, what exactly are we going to cover? And I decided, you know what? Let's look through all the forgotten, canceled series of Jump. Let's just pull one of those out, start the year out right.
There's a reason they're forgotten.
As you can see, Johnathan was not happy with my decision. He's going to be even sadder in 6 months when I do it again. But I pulled out Hungry Joker by Yuki Tabata. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Why? Because this person, even though this series was canceled, his next series, Black Clover, is still currently running and aiming for its first year in Jump, and is pretty goddamn successful. You may also remember that I've talked about Black Clover on this show as being perhaps one of the most forgettable shonen series I've ever read.
That is a good way to describe Hungry Joker as well.
Yes, sadly, this man is no Barrage Man. I forgot his name. Alright. But, as you all know, my favorite segment, we need to ask what you've all been reading. And Johnathan, you've been reading something so nice, but I'm gonna fucking trick you, because I think I know what Meta's gonna talk about, or I know what David's gonna talk about.
Let's get the meta first, because I'm gonna need some time.
Yeah, you are. Alright, David, I think I know what you're gonna talk about, and I really hope I'm right, so go.
Yes, I'm gonna talk about JoJo Part 4. No, I read the first volume of A Silent Voice, and it is excellent.
Yes! Oh my god, isn't that manga so fucking brutal?
It is incredibly good.
It's seriously the most metal goddamn drama I've ever read, because it's so hard to read.
Well, no, I'm gonna need some explaining done.
Yeah, go for it, David.
Do you not know what it is? Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's a manga about this deaf girl who transfers to a school, and this boy who starts to bully her, and just it's all about childhood bullying and the effects of it, and it's very real, and there are a lot of pages that are just nail the topic really well, and it's great.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is, and that's how the first volume goes. I want to talk about this manga now. I've read up to the 4th volume of the series, of what they've released here in the US. I've read the whole series through scans, but I've been trying to keep up with the releases as they come out, because goddamn, I love this series. The first volume is all about how this kid basically torments this girl for being for being deaf, for being just the alien in his class that used to be just a bunch of normal, happy-go-lucky kids, and how it all basically blows up in his face and follows him to adulthood. And how realizing his mistake, he tries to track this girl down, tries to apologize, tries to make up for what he's done, all before he plans to commit suicide, which is a bit derailed because of meeting her again. And it just...
stuff though, because I actually haven't read the second volume and I want to.
Oh,
don't go
I'm sorry.
too far.
That was actually from the one shot, so I didn't think of it as spoilers.
I assumed he doesn't kill himself.
I'm sorry.
It's just you're going pretty far, and I'm like, okay, slow down.
Yeah. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm fucking up. I'm fucking up, man. You gotta stop me when I get on this. I love this series. I'll talk about it forever. I've been trying to get people to read it forever, and no one fucking wants to dive in. And it's so nice to see someone finally took the plunge.
Yeah, I want to stick to this one legally and buy the next volume fast, because it's really good.
Yeah, it's up to 4 volumes. Mm-hmm. I believe 4 volumes. There might be 5. I've only seen, like, up to 4 volumes in stores. I haven't looked online, but I do know, like, all 8 volumes are coming out. And, oh man, I love this series. So, I'm sorry, I stole your entire segment. Anything else you want to say?
You said pretty much everything I had. Yeah, it's, like, just really well made. There's just tons of pages that just, like that scene with the chalkboard. Like, people who haven't read it won't know, but when, like, all the writing on the chalkboard and it just, it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm repeating myself, but yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. It's really good. I completely agree with you. Okay, Johnathan. I'm sorry, I assume you're done, David?
Well, there is actually one thing I liked.
Oh.
I also read this American comic called Saga. Have either of you heard of it?
Actually, I have heard of that. It's a comic about stories, right?
Well, I've only read the first volume, and it's really weird. Like, it's crazy, and I barely even understand what, like, there's these weird half-decapitated hipster ghosts. There's this dude with a TV head that has a sex scene, and there's, it's really bizarre. I kind of like it, and I don't know where it's going, but I've heard good things, and the first volume is just incredibly bizarre.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check that series out, though I'm kind of hesitant, because apparently the guy who writes it is a hardcore libertarian.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
That's kind of a red flag to me, because I've already been down the Fables ride. But then again, I might get lucky.
Yeah. But I don't know, so far it's interesting. I would like to read more of it and see where exactly it's headed.
And I think Walt said he wasn't going to share anything tonight because he's...
No, I didn't say I wasn't going to share anything. I said I'm just going to cop the fuck out.
Okay.
What is it?
And by cop out, I mean I'm going to talk about one of the series I've been reading for almost 8+ years. Which is a total cop-out, because usually I like to find little series along with what we talk about on here, but sometimes that doesn't work out. So, you know what? I will take my turn, because I know, Johnathan, you're going to need all the time you can get to talk about what you're going to talk about, because holy crap, you've got something to talk about. Alright. As you continue to post pictures of it in the Skype chat. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. Alright. Oh god, I didn't realize how much you've been posting. Either way, I'm gonna talk about One Piece. Which, it might be a little known series, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But One Piece is the story about Monkey D. Luffy, a boy who sets out onto the ocean to become the king of the pirates. And from there, it's sort of a very much an adventure story, how he travels to each island, meeting new people, facing new enemies, and just sort of as he goes from island to island, the story grows bigger and bigger from there. And I actually recently talked to people about this series, about how intimidating it seems, and I guess, and I want to address that as well. To me, this series never seemed that intimidating, because everything is so easily broken up in the beginning by just what island they're on, that it's simple enough to just read like 10 chapters, you're done with that section, and it's like, do I want to read more? Maybe not right now, but maybe later, and you come back to it. It's a very easy series in the beginning to just kind of drop, walk away, and then pick back up later. And that's basically kind of how it hooks you, is as it gets just a little bit longer each time, it gets a little more heavy with lore, a little more interesting with its characters, and just kind of hooks you that way. And that's probably why, like, One Piece is one of the big three, with Naruto and Bleach from back at the beginning of 2000, that just kind of took over Shonen Jump. It was basically, it's still going. It's the only one still going that doesn't have an ending or hasn't already ended among those three.
It's also the only one that's arguably still good.
I agree.
I'm still following Bleach, but even I'll admit,
I do it for the funny powers.
I do it for
I watched I watched I skipped some filler arcs, but I watched over 200 episodes of the anime, and it's a lot of fun. I'd like to maybe continue it through the manga or something, because the problem is Toei's anime really poorly paced, and the
yes, it is.
I actually really like the filler for that series. It's really fun. It kind of helps that the series' general tone is actually fun instead of, so the filler doesn't feel nearly as out of place.
It's the whole story is about the adventure of exploring this ocean, and so that's why it's sometimes very obvious when it's filler, but sometimes it's like, oh wait, this wasn't in the manga? I'm actually really surprised by that. Like,
I wouldn't mind it so much if it wasn't so slow. The filler is always really slow, to me at least.
Yeah, apparently Oda said he hit the halfway point for the series at the end of the Prison Break arc, which was a few years ago, so I think we still have a decade until the ending.
I'm perfectly fine with that. To get back on a point I was talking about, one of the strongest parts of this story, at least to me, are the different characters you have throughout it, because I would argue that at least 90% of all characters in One Piece are unique. They are recognizable and distinguishable just almost on visuals alone, and personality as well once you get into them.
Yeah, it's
and that is not an easy feat for a series that I think at this point is at 811 chapters.
I actually think Kubo managed to do that with Bleach. He just doesn't know what to do with these characters, which makes One Piece all the more impressive because it keeps bringing them back and giving them purpose you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, the designs and personalities are all really varied. It's cool.
And even when you don't see characters come back, it's because they have nothing left to do and there's no reason to bring them back. It's not like the 13 captains where you literally only have 3 that matter and the rest are... I don't even know the names of the other 10.
I'm just glad that Hitsugaya finally got, killed or kind of killed lately. God, he was annoying.
Who is that?
The little guy with ice powers who was always super serious.
Oh, fuck! That's right, that guy was killed.
Yeah, he got turned into a zombie.
Holy shit, I forgot
he got turned
that!
into a zombie by a transsexual character.
That's really funny, because I remember him being a big fan favorite.
Oh, he is.
So I love it. I actually love that Kubo killed off a fan favorite character and turned him into a zombie.
Honestly, he's killing off nearly everyone at this point, and I'm kind of worried Ruki is going to die by the end of this because she gets her Bankai, but it's a Bankai that's super powerful. But if she gets hit once while she's using it, she dies. So I'm like, oh boy.
Oh no, that's a death flag.
Yeah, no, that is a straight up Chekhov's gun that's just been left on that table. Dude.
Hey, at least she got to use it to kill what is basically Metal Death Jesus.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was awesome. But yeah, so One Piece is fun.
Naruto
One
sucks.
Piece is fun.
Oh.
Naruto sucks.
Fuck you.
One day we'll have to talk about Naruto.
Question, Walt, have you seen the One Piece movie 9, I think, directed by Hosoda?
Oh, God. That's the one... Is that the one where they went back to Alabasta?
No, the one where they go to that weird island that's a metaphor for Studio Ghibli.
Is that the one where they go to hell?
Oh, no, that's number 10, Strong World. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
It's the one before that. It's called, the Baron something island.
The Bear... What?
The Island of Baron something... Have you not seen it?
Oh, is that the one where, Chopper becomes a king? I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. It's the one with the really weird character designs, and they go to this weird island with the guy with
That's
the
all
flower
One
head.
Piece?
Well, yeah, no, but they actually changed the character designs from the anime and the manga.
Let's see. What are you talking... Episode...
9. I should have looked this up before. I didn't know we were
is that... Oh, is this the one where
9.
it's is it the retelling of when they get Chopper?
No, I'm ruining everything because I don't know which one it is now.
You're killing me here. Oh, it's movie 6. Holy fuck.
There we go.
Oh shit, movie 6 was... I've contested that movie 6 is perhaps, simultaneously the best and worst movie, just because it literally took everything that made One Piece great and tried to redefine it, and was somewhat successful, which seemed really fucking impossible.
It's my favorite.
But yes, it is the darkest fucking movie.
I love
Who is the director on this one?
It's Mamoru
Mamoru Hosoda.
Yeah.
That's
Road
right.
Through Time, Summer Wars, Wolf Children.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah. No. I like this movie.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Holy fuck.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. No. That definitely was. Oh, there's another one. There's another One Piece movie coming out. When's this out?
Oh, of course, there's another One Piece movie coming out. That fucking manga is like been at the top of the sales charts for everything since forever.
Yeah.
Like everyone in Japan owns One
Except
Piece.
America, apparently, because we couldn't get fucking anime over here for years.
Oh no, the 4 kids. Hi-yo, hi-yo.
I know.
God damn it.
Don't give it up, Luffy.
Dreaming, don't give it up. God. Alright. Johnathan, you had a thing you wanted to talk about. Care to talk about it?
Well, I haven't been reading any manga lately, and I'm not caught up on comics, but I did decide to check out a webcomic a few weeks ago because I recently played Undertale a few months back, and I wanted to do an article explaining its influences, and I discovered that its creator, Toby Fox, worked as, get this, a composer for a webcomic, and that webcomic was Homestuck.
Whoa, what the motherfuck? Who's this motherfucking motherfucker?
You're just enjoying all those images in the chat, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
I love Homestar Runner.
Oh god, Homestuck. Okay, let me give you some background information because this is hard to explain. This man named Andrew Hussey, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He ran a website called MS Paint Adventures. Well, technically he still does. And what he would do is he'd make webcomics where users would input commands like in an old text adventure game and decide what happens in the story from those commands. So basically every single series he did was a collection of shitposts, and it was wonderful. And that's what Homestuck is at first. It basically just sets up this situation where you're this guy and this kid named John who's exploring his room trying to play a new game he got for his birthday. But by the end of Act 1, you've also gained control of another character named Rose, and the world has ended. It turns out there are these, basically the series is split up into acts. There are four main kids from Earth you follow as the main characters, John, Rose, Dave, and Jade, and they all have different personalities and stuff, and they play this game called Serbs that allows them to actually manipulate the world around them. So, for the entirety of the first act, Rose is constantly moving around stuffs in John's house, building an alchemy machine so they can make stuff, and things just get out of control from there. And then it just starts spiraling into madness. Okay, to keep it a long story short, they're in a place called Paradox Space, and this game they're playing is part of a larger cosmic game between a light world and a dark world of chess piece people, and they're trying to they don't know it yet, but the game they're playing, the reward is is a new universe because theirs is kind of getting destroyed by all the meteors that started when the game started. Whoops. And as all this starts to unfold and they start figuring out what's actually going on, they keep getting harassed by these characters called the trolls on the online chat they use to communicate, who actually turn out to be literal troll people from an alien planet from a different game who got royally fucked over because something went so wrong in their game, their entire universe was destroyed, and now they're trying to fix the problem through time travel. Except they're so terrible at it, they're actually creating the situation in the first place, and the series just goes crazier and crazier from there, and with all these weird villains, like a guy who's basically all throughout time, called Lord English, that wants to destroy everything, a guy named Jack Nor, who one of the chess people, who gains the powers of his queen, and thus gains the powers of the endgame boss created through these little sprites they make from objects and people in their lives. And one of those objects ends up being a demigod, so he becomes a demigod himself. He's what ended up destroying the Trolls universe, and he is basically just the most terrifying, ridiculous thing. Like, you even get to play technically you get to see things from his perspective at a few points, and after he becomes a god, he's just really bored of killing everything. He just wants to find something new to do. And I guess the best way to describe series is just a collection of ridiculous shit posts even after he stops taking suggestions from the players. Like, you've probably already seen all the chats and stuff and pictures I put in the chat, and just how ridiculously obtuse they are. And even the plot gets ridiculous. Like, there's an alternate universe at one point where in this timeline, this universe, and I'm not making this up, the last presidents of the United States were the insane clown posse, and they turned the White House into their dark carnival, and they got beheaded by an alternate universe version of Dave, who rode away on a JPEG artifact skateboard that was so shitty that when he made it, he actually gained money instead of spending.
This is exactly why babies should not be allowed to duel wield flintlock pistols.
I understood.
Oh, I don't even want
to.
I can't even explain that.
You lost me at 2 people in the room.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to think of some kind of, like, something to say to that, but it's like, literally everything you just said is such utter gibberish, unless apparently you've experienced it like you have.
Yeah, but let me try simplifying it. Basically, it's a time travel story about a bunch of people who keep doing things phenomenally wrong and making the situation worse, creating monsters and basically destructive deities, and they have to try and correct it. The clever thing about it, though, is they keep disguising all this with really ridiculous internet humor. Like at one point in the story, when one of the trolls is trying to manipulate Dave into being a hero as part of a dare she made with her friend, there are just entire sections where they're just sharing shitty GIF comics they made. Like, you know that, have you ever heard of a comic called Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff? I warned you about the stairs bro thing.
I've seen that.
Yeah, in universe, that comic was made by Dave, and he was actually inspired by the troll he was talking to, Briska, who is blind and has to basically feel colors. It's hard to explain. So she can use a computer, she just can't use it well, so like she keeps making shitty GIFs with everything completely out of place. And for like several pages, it's just them sharing terrible shitty GIFs of each other dancing, and it just goes on like that. So like every once in a while the action will just break up for these ridiculous set pieces, like including entire spans of pages where characters just make ridiculous items like a Bill Cosby laptop or an Ecto Green suit. And just sometimes the series will just break away from the plot entirely and do something stupid like having John reenact the ending of Con Air as one of the main trolls, Karat, just watches and is like, what the fuck?
You receive a box of delicious fruit gushers. Could this birthday get any better? You don't think so.
If I can be serious without explaining the sheer ridiculousness of this series, this is probably one of the best written stories I've ever seen in a webcomic. And I mean that sincerely, except Act 5, which is just a nightmare pacing, even though it has its high points. Every single character in this series has a purpose that's not immediately apparent, and they start growing far more depth than you would expect from characters this ridiculous. Like the first troll you meet, Karat, he's this angry little short guy who types in all caps and is constantly coming up with ridiculous cuss combinations and insults for people. But as the series goes on, it becomes clear he's a very depressed person who's honestly just trying to be friends with the people around him, but he has no idea how. And there are just little moments like that for all the characters, especially Briska, this troll who's raised by a spider and has like telekinetic powers. she seems like a regular jerk at first, even having to have organized the killing of one of her friends. But as you learn more about her, she becomes more complex, and then when you find out she is the one who's manipulating events at a certain point to make Jack Nor what he becomes, just so she can defeat him, it becomes clear that she's not just good or evil, she's an actual sociopath, but she's still capable of doing good things. She just chooses not to, and chooses the selfless option instead. And there are just so many great moments like that just stick with me. Even like the series is ending right now, and there's just this really great moment where Dave is talking to like the alternate version of his brother in this other timeline, this person who has nothing to do with him, and he's explaining his life with his brother. And it takes these comedic moments from like early in the series and reframes them as Dave is realizing that his brother was an abusive asshole to him his entire life, and he's having a little breakdown, just quietly hugs this alternate version brother, and just in silence, just finally realizing everything and just wanting to get it all out. And it's just such a great moment, and it's amazing how well the series just balances absurd meta humor with stuff like that. It's very human in ways you wouldn't expect. Also, there's one point where Hussey himself constantly interferes with the plot, including proposing to one character and killing another one, which actually causes the entire major conflict in the last act. It's ridiculous.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Well, this has been the Homestuck Podcast.
Yeah. Alright, thank you very much, Johnathan.
Yeah, I could go on for ages. Please stop me.
Yeah, well,
yeah, we'll stop you there.
We may need to
Alright.
derailing a bit.
And now we're going to stop Johnathan from talking about Homestuck so that he can talk about Hungry Joker.
This sucks.
He likes it much more.
This sucks.
Podcast over. Bye.
Bye.
Nah, I don't know. It's bland. I wouldn't say it sucks, because that would mean I'd have to feel something.
We would have to explain what Hungry Joker is first.
We might, yeah.
We would, wouldn't we?
Let me explain it. Have you ever read a generic shonen battle series before? You've read Hungry Joker. There we go.
Oh.
Haji is a scientist with amnesia, and him and his assistant, Toroji, are attacked by a giant mutant corpse. Glowing corpse. And it turns out that Hajime has the power to control gravity when he eats a black apple. And so he fights against the giant glowing corpse, and then, like, more powerful guys show up.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the plot.
Shonen.
Yeah, and the reason I'm not like doing them.
And then there's a big villain. And
By the way, I want to give a little background. So, the original one-shot for Hungry Joker was nothing like the manga that you read.
Really?
It was all about a scientist who had a set amount of time to live before he died, and he had to absorb the power. He had to like absorb monsters in order to extend that time to find a cure for himself. In a post-apocalyptic world where everything had already been destroyed. So that was the one shot, and then somehow that evolved into this.
Honestly, that doesn't sound
generic enough.
That doesn't sound very interesting either.
Yeah.
Every time I read a plot synopsis from whatever this guy puts out, I instantly get bored. Like when you were describing Black Clover, I was just like, oh, it's every generic shonen battle series ever made.
Yeah, and that was pretty much my review of it. It was every generic shonen battle series. I was so bored reading Black Clover, and I've stopped after 20 chapters. And that was back then. They're up to 42 now, and I just can't imagine going back.
Yeah, this guy, he has good art, and he has good ideas for series, but then when he actually has to write them, or write characters, or create actual complex motivations, or anything that involves actually writing, it's just the most boring mayonnaise paste I've ever taken a look at.
It's very true. So, the thing I like about this series is the idea where the powers come from, and that is, there are these artifacts through time that gave man the knowledge to advance science to where it was today. And these were basically, these were called Eurekas. And basically when and it was like the juice from the apple I mentioned earlier. That's what gave Newton the idea to understand gravity. And so eating that gives him the power to control gravity. It's all these different artifacts of all these different scientists throughout the years, from something as simple as like a rod that someone used to generate the first bit of electricity, to what was another thing? I'm like blanking on a lot of the artifacts.
Nobody remembers. There's nothing memorable
like
about this.
I remember there was a painting. There was a painting of blood. I do remember that, but I don't remember what the painting of blood does.
The sharp rock or something that had something to that. I don't remember specifically.
It's
like Nobunaga.
No, don't compare this to Nobunaga, because Nobunaga knew it was stupid.
I'd argue this.
No, this does not. Stupid. This really does think it's going somewhere with this, and it. Oh my god, it's terrible.
I mean, it's like the shonen, you need the help of friends and don't do things alone.
Oh, don't even get me started on that bullshit ending.
Oh, the ending's a mess.
Oh man, okay. So like I said, this was one of Jump's canceled series. It only had 24 chapters because of that. So they needed to cobble together an ending. And sure enough, you know what it was? It was the fucking Digimon Adventure 02 ending. That's what it was.
It was like
let's not insult Digimon here, because I mean that was a bad season, but it was better than Hungry Joker.
Like the first Wolf's Rain ending before they kind of fixed it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like where it's not a real ending. It's just it's over now. They didn't even really fix anything.
That reminds me, I should put the Wolf's Rain manga on the list of things we need to read, because that manga sucks compared to the anime.
Oh. We drag Willie into that one because he loves Wolf's Rain.
Yeah. Alright. I mean, like, we've talked about the powers and apparently how we feel about this series. Does anyone want to say anything about the characters?
They all suck.
Hey, I mean, if I can talk about how I enjoyed it. It was fun. Like, it's dumb shonen, but like I like World Trigger, I like Seraph. I can kind of like get fun out of these mindless, let's beat the stronger bad guys and use wacky powers to beat them kind of thing. I enjoy it. It's not very deep or complex, but it's fun and. I mean, I'm just saying it's fun.
I will give the series some credit. Some of the character ideas are neat, like the guy who wields the hammer acting all cool, but he's actually a giant coward inside. That was cute. Mm-hmm. Or the guy who gains the mist powers. I actually liked him. I think he was the only actual character in this entire fucking series, to be honest. But then you have characters like the cross-dressing doctor, who is just plain offensive for existing. You have the rich girl who had a complex about her powers that got solved the exact moment it was introduced. You had the assistant whose entire life just revolves around the doctor, and oh god, she's annoying. Oh, well, she's just wasted potential. And so
that was cool. She got powers eventually.
Yeah, she does, and they amount to nothing. She
wielded the blood painting.
Yeah,
she did a bit more, but
and they really amount to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put the series. And the villains are the worst villains I've ever seen in a manga, and I've read some shit. I mean,
oh man, like half the villains introduced in this series are just the humans suck. Blah.
No, it's not even that. It's not even humans suck. It's just they're all a bunch of evil assholes who do things because they're evil assholes, but not even in an interesting way. Like, you can make that interesting. You can like give them some sort of weird tick or obsession, or you can just make them as crazy as possible that you can't take their eyes off them. Like when I was talking about Trash, when I brought up that whole mosquito guy. That guy was great because he was just some crazy asshole who came out of nowhere in the story and just started killing people. And that's what the series needed to just shake things up. But these guys, they're doing it for a reason, and the reason is stupid and dumb, and I hate it. They see themselves like as gods because they have these science powers now. And so, thus, they'll just all kill people, and that's their entire fucking goal as far as I can see.
Now, here's the thing that I never got about them. So, they always look down on the heroes for being like just humans with powers. But isn't that what they fucking are?
I think the series is implying there's some different.
Weren't they like aliens or something?
No, not aliens. More like some sort of dark god thing going on, but they never actually go into it or explain it.
Yeah, I think they must have not gotten a chance to get that far. Because like I know the main guy, he was like half them and half human.
Yeah, so
which I
means
assume they were gods or aliens.
Which means they're not entirely human to begin with. There's something abnormal about them. I guess it's because like their powers are. You know, they never really do explain this. Why am I trying to figure it out?
Yeah, they don't. They just don't.
It's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not explained.
They're called something different from humans, but it's not explained.
And thus, they should be hated and feared because they want to kill all the humans. Oh God, how original!
Yeah,
God, they're just so.
It's supposed to be an integral part of the plot because Haji turns out to be half of whatever they are, but it's never explained what they are. So he's just half of something.
Half a crazy evil asshole.
Exactly.
Actually, if I could bring up something, I was just remembering Homestuck. Don't worry, I'm not going on a long tangent. I'm just bringing up Verska again because in a lot of ways she's similar. She's basically an evil asshole to people all the time for selfish reasons. But she actually has goals, and she thinks of ways to attain them, and she uses people to get those goals. And she manipulates people as she sees fit, or fights when she sees fit. These guys don't have any of that. There's nothing to them. They just kill people because that's what they do. That's all. It doesn't even make sense. Like, on one hand, it seems the series is trying to make them like the evil science guys. That's what they're doing at first, and they're just like using humans as a grand experiment. But then they abandon that and just make them like evil. Nutty people who think they're gods, and that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't make any sense because they don't have any sort of religious theming except that one guy who died real fast.
At the end of this series, there's like this whole like there's half a page based on like just this paragraph talking about all the experiments they pulled on humans, the bubonic plague. I think like the volcano erupting at Mount Vesuvius.
Oh
was
God,
one of
that
them.
part was stupid.
It's like. Yeah, and it's just talking about all this, and it's like, I think that's where you're getting this from. And then it's like, oh, they're gonna start their next big experiment, and it's just one dude's freezing Russia, one dude's blowing up a bunch of buildings, the chick didn't do a thing before she died. It's like, oh, what are you even fucking doing?
Well, they need to have their big climactic battle.
I know, but it makes no sense.
Yeah, they're just awful at being whatever they're supposed to be. And the series can't make up their mind what they're supposed to be.
They're shonen villains. They want to
no, that's an
destroy
insult
the
to
world
shonen
because the
villains.
heroes need to stop them.
I just talked about fucking One Piece. That should prove it's a insult. Like, you got guys like Crocodile who want to destroy an entire government just so he can, like, continue mass-producing a drug and living a high life. You got guys like Don Flamingo who wants to keep an entire fucking city under his fingertips. Like, those are good shonen villains.
Even Naruto has better villains than this. No, I'm fucking serious right now. I'm gonna get real here. Naruto has better fucking villains than this. Say what you will about how awful that series is, and it is, but the villains actually have motivations and plans that make some sort of logical sense. Even the main bad guy, whose main entire plan is incredibly stupid, it makes more sense than anything these people are doing because it has a fucking goal.
Yeah.
This was like a manga clearly built story-wise to accompany the action scenes and the art and
I don't even think it was built story-wise. I think they just came up with a premise and that was the end of the discussion. Just draw this out and hope it pays the bills.
It's like, how do we have this fight? How do we have this fight? That's what it was for set pieces more than.
Yeah, I mean,
well, like I said,
the point where the is mentioned in the manga that the bad guys always keep attacking the white Joker base all the fucking time. So when they come and just so when they pop in that one time to like kill everyone, she's like, oh yeah, this happens a lot, and they're still scared shitless. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you even have this base if they come here all the time?
This is where they keep the non-important stuff. But you know, it's kind of like I was talking like how a year between there was a year between the one shot and this series starting, and of course like you gotta think there was time like with the editor and writer sitting down trying to hash this out, and in the end, like the one shot has such a drastically different plot than what you have here. So they literally rebuilt this from the ground up. They took the one shot, which apparently, if they considered Hungry Joker for a series, they must have thought it had some potential. Literally scrapped nearly everything in that. I think the only similarities between the two are the main character, Haji, and they literally rebuilt the whole thing from the ground up, and this is what they came up with.
Haji... I just realized something. Haji's like halfway there to becoming an actual character, but I think if he actually did become an actual character, he'd just be Hitsugaya from Bleach. He even fucking looks like him. He's tiny, he's got white hair, he's always looking serious.
Is that the ice guy you were just talking about?
Yeah, he has no sense of humor. He's around incredibly attractive women who he doesn't know anything to do with. God, he would have been insufferable.
I really don't think there's any need for us to talk more about this series, because I think we've really come a long way here.
Oh, no, motherfucker. You brought me in here. I'm going to finish this.
Just sit back and let...
There's just so much bullshit I could talk about in this series. Like, first off, the entire science theme doesn't make any sense because the series doesn't seem to give a shit about science. How do those mist powers even work? It's never really adequately explained. Like, so apparently now the mist can solidify somehow, so it can like punch things as a minotaur. What? Like, if it was sand powers, that would make perfect sense. But fucking mist, even if it solidifies, it never says it doesn't look anything like ice in the fucking pictures. And when the powers combine with the gravity powers, that makes no sense either, since it's just more random bullshit.
In the end of the series, he fights the ice guy. And it's like, it's a fight between whether it's going to be steam or ice.
I know, it's so stupid. Oh, and I'm also kind of pissed because they don't even bring back the brother for the finale. Instead, bring back the one guy with the peas nobody cared about from, like, the second chapter.
That was weird.
Yeah.
You never even really see the brother.
He appears at the very end of the epilogue.
One shot, but he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, and it goes on with the adventure will continue ending, which is also bullshit because there's no adventure. It's just a bunch of crazy assholes destroying everything, and these guys are trying to stop them. And then the main character is smiling at the end. And why would he be smiling? These people are constantly trying to destroy the world.
Character development. He is friendly.
Yeah. He gained feelings.
God, so
stupid. Something I just thought about. So the assistant's power comes from a painting. Would she just have to carry that painting on her back wherever she went, like Haji carrying the apple, if like the series kept going?
That one the series actually thought through because the important part of the painting just goes into her, so she's fused with like Mercury, like the girl with the steel hands.
Really? I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
It's the one thing in this series that actually makes a lick of sense constantly.
I don't think they actually said it. They kind of showed it like it was going into her, infusing with her or something.
Yeah. Oh God, I just remember that guy who called himself God at the auction. He was. Oh my God, he was terrible.
I am God. Taste my fucking laser.
I'm bald and have fancy earrings. They're somehow religious or something. God. Oh, and it has like laser burst powers. God, fuck, that was such a lazy villain design. I'm still angry about him, and honestly, I'm angry. Oh God, I'm gonna rant about all the villains at this rate. They're just so fucking awful.
Jonathan, I'm so glad I got you to read this series.
Oh, don't even get me started on that fucking misogynist pickup artist guy who like poisons ladies so he can like make them body controlled maids. That's the freaking piece of shit.
I mean, he's a bad guy. I killed him. But he
really, was Hungry Joker the series that really deserved to bring up rape outlet and bring up illusions of rape?
It's edgy.
God, this...
The Akame ga Kill.
You know what? We should probably talk about Akame ga Kill one day, because,
No,
God,
never.
I need to rip into that.
Don't drag me into that, please.
Oh, the anime went original material at a certain point. The manga is... Oh, boy.
Dog rape.
Oh, see, I thought you were talking about covering it on Heavy Storms. Are you talking about the manga?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Let's not get too off topic.
I want to destroy that fucking thing. Oh, God. I can't believe we got on so much discussion on this awful, awful thing.
I mean, a lot of it
to
was
be fair,
homestead.
David, we didn't really go off topic. This has literally been about 20 minutes of Dark ripping into this series like crazy.
I am amazed something so insignificant and generic and boring has pissed me off so much. I have just finished watching that fucking 35 Test Platoon Anti-Magic series, and it pissed me off a bit, but it did not piss me off this much, and there was a lot that pissed me off.
You're making me feel bad for like.
I fucking watched
like
Asuka and I wasn't that mad. No, wait, I just found that one boring. I'm trying to remember what Oh yeah, Aldona Zero. This pissed me off more than Aldona Zero. And if you've seen Aldona Zero, you know how much of an accomplishment that is.
Slane did nothing wrong.
I don't even give a shit about that. I quit after the first season. That halfway ending was such utter bullshit.
They're all fine.
And the big final mech is basically a video game final boss with all the powers of the other mechs. Well, God, fucking.
I'm so glad that David was like, it's just stupid shonen. I was like, it's kind of meh, but I like the powers. And Jonathan's just slamming 10 notebooks on the ground listen here, you motherfuckers.
I think what really gets me is this series is the encapsulation of everything I despise about shonen battle manga nowadays. It's vaguely misogynistic. It has terrible characters. It has terrible villains. Nothing's thought out. The powers are just thrown together all hapdash with no real thought or feeling behind them. There's no actual story, just the hook. Fucking God, these villains are terrible. I just want to rant about them all day. I fucking hate them. And that P guy is so fucking stupid. His power is idiotic. When he apparently evolves enough so that he can, survive a black hole. What sort of bullshit is that?
How do you even do that?
I mean,
he had fucking plant powers. What the fuck?
I think for Jonathan's sake, we should end here.
I just want to say this. Madoka Box did a really good job of showing why people like shonen battle series, and it even made it its main thesis at the end. And this series is a good example of why people hate shonen battle series, and it doesn't even get into the big sins of being too long with overly long arcs. It's just concentrated suck of everything wrong with this genre and this entire industry built around it.
Everyone just read Madoka Box instead.
Actually, read MX0. That when I was reading,
I saw you mentioning that. What does that have to do with anything?
Because it's another Shonen Jump series, and when I was reading this, I was reminded of it because that series also got canceled before its time. I mean, it got much longer. It got way more chapters than this, but it got canceled way before it was ready to end, and it was such a refreshing series. It's one of the most original, touching, original, beautiful little series I've ever seen, and tells such a simple story, but it gets so much out of it because of the characters, the writing, the situations, not the powers. And this series is the complete opposite. It's all about the powers. It's all about the fighting, but it doesn't know what to do with any of it, so it's just all a big bunch of noise. It's oh my God, this is the fucking manga version of Michael Bay's Transformers.
So the thing about that is, I enjoy the first Michael Bay Transformers.
I did too, but I did not enjoy the others. And this is that.
I consider this more like Transformers 1, though. I don't. We'll get to our conclusions later.
Yeah, fuck this series.
Just read My Hero Academia instead.
Yeah. Barrage, another good one.
MX0, Madoka Box, obviously, but only if you're really into this genre. God, I'm trying to think of a good, just solid shonen battle series, but they're all so terrible.
You should read My Hero Academia. It's solid.
Oh, the Iron Knight one-shot. That's one of the best shonen action one-shots I've ever read.
If you can...
Gotta wish Kubo would do something else with a different writer. And would stop using
I would read that.
Would just stop using inks because, my god, he makes everything so dark I can't tell what the fuck's going on anymore.
New from Kubo, a thrilling horror series set in the dark.
I could actually see that happening.
Yeah.
Seven Deadly Sins.
Let's end this, or else I'll just keep going on and on about how much I hate this.
I've been trying to do that for a while now. Okay, I'm going to start with my final thoughts, because Dark may need a minute for his. Or then again, he spent the last 20 minutes looking at his final thoughts. Okay. I thought this was really just a very meh series. Like the thing is, like you were saying, I think you said like the artwork was fine, but honestly, even that I kind of thought was kind of meh. Everything, you're right. It's all noise. The battles were very meh. There was no tension behind them. The characters were very meh. There was nothing really to latch on with any of them. The story was very meh. There was nothing. I still think in better hands, the scientific powers idea could have been handled really well, and that's kind of what made me want to read this series.
Oh, absolutely. It's just the person writing it.
Yeah. I would honestly say if Black Clover ends in the next couple of years and you see another series with this guy's name on it, just avoid it outright at first glance. Let someone else be the canary that goes down the mine shaft before you do.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can handle bad. I mean, I'm still planning to read more trash, and that is a terrible fucking series, but this fucking broke me. It's just...
At least it was short.
Oh, thank God.
Black Clover isn't, though. That's still running.
If that gets more chapters than MX0, I'm just gonna throw a fit.
How many chapters?
It got about 93, I believe.
I honestly, it's actually pretty popular. It's likely. Same magazine as My Hero Academia. Popularity does not know quality.
I think it's still...
My Hero Academia is good.
Okay, David, you to go next.
I mean, like, I don't know who eats popcorn while reading manga, but I guess it's what I would call, like, just popcorn entertainment. It's dumb, it's stupid, but the action was cool. I liked the art, the powers were neat, and I had fun reading. It was... I mean, I know it's like the most generic and hard to back up thing to say something was fun, but the comedy was pretty fun to me, and I liked the action, and it's bad objectively, but I thought it was cool and enjoyable, so
You know what? I do have one good thing to say about the characters. Chapter 4 with Hachi and Toroji, I thought that was really cute.
I honestly can't remember what happened in that chapter, because it's all just such a blur to me.
She quit being his assistant, but he convinced her to come back by saying that basically she was his inspiration to the rest of his...
God. You can't let us have
You didn't like anything in this.
Oh, it doesn't match his characterization established at all, and it makes him very unscientific by giving him an element of believing in something which doesn't make any fucking sense for anything established about him, and it's never really brought up. And
that was actually established like in chapter 2, though. Like he clearly liked the nurse and could have easily just fucking outright murdered her, but
he can be a scientist with ethics. He's not like the crazy asshole just killing people. That much is clear. Even if that's not the same as believing. That's just having basic human fucking empathy.
Which really, up to that point, he wasn't shown to have.
Well, he kind of did, just not much of it.
I don't think there's any pleasing Johnathan tonight, man. I really don't.
Yeah,
his high point was getting to talk about Homestruck, and his low point was having to talk about this series.
Yeah, so...
And there's been no middle ground.
Yes, I fucking hate this series. This might be one of my most hated manga I've ever read, and I have to think on that because I've read some crap. I have read a lot of crap.
I like that just the meh Jump series I figured I'd throw in there as a fun little start to the year turned out to be fucking Jonathan's most hated shonen battle series.
Let me fucking explain here. I actively
nice.
search out bad manga to read because I want to see just how bad it gets and just how interesting it can be and how bad it is. And I do the same with anime a lot. Like this season, I took the show based on the manga from the guy who made Excel Saga. You know, the one with the robots that get their private bits touched.
Did the Sao creator make that?
Yeah, I took it from
creator.
Joe partly because I feel sorry that I gave him so much crap last year, but also because I just want to see just how deep that rabbit hole goes. But the longer I keep doing the seasonal review thing, the more I'm realizing it's not outright bad that angers me the most. It's generic, and this series is like the manga version of every single fucking terrible magical school light novel anime ever created. It is just utter suck incompetence and just no original thought put anywhere in it whatsoever. Not even in the hook. But at least oh god.
I like how your final thoughts for this series sounds almost word for word like my description of Black Clover I said months ago.
Oh god, I don't even want to read that. I can't imagine liking any more than this. Yeah, but like this just this season I finished like Test Platoon, like Anti-Magic, like I said, and it was terrible. And that series ended with a fucking little girl, the main character's sister, being possessed by an eldritch monster and going on a rampage because she wanted to fuck her brother. And that was still better written than this bullshit. Because at least there was a fucking point. At least at some point in the writing of this terrible crap, someone thought, yes, this is where I want the story to go and what I want the characters to feel. At no fucking point does Hungry Joker ever have a moment like that outside the battle, except like really outside the battle scenes. It's only like 2 and they barely matter. And at the end, it just all culminates to friendship. Fucking bullshit. I will cut every light novel. I will cut every single pretentious, terrible light novel writer some slack. Because at least they have some fucking ambition and try and fail instead of try at all.
I completely disagree with that.
I actually have a fucking terrible light novel show to watch this season. I'm more looking forward to it than this, even though I know it's going to be terrible because I've already seen clips of it. And there's like characters fucking refer to swords as sword devices. I'm not making this shit up. I will probably like it better than this bullshit. Because at least someone at some point fucking tried.
This at least has some attempts at neat original idea, like the whole scientist thing, some of the action scenes.
Oh, that's...
The stuff you're talking about is, hey, the bazillionth magical school where a generic protag goes in and a bunch of
what's funny?
But he's the strongest.
You know what's funny about this? I can actually say that about every single light novel show I've seen as well, because they do put thought into the actual combat mechanics, and people just sort of overlook that a lot because everything else is so terrible, and it doesn't really matter anything in the long run, which just makes the comparison stronger.
So what would you guys rate it?
Fucking
it's
1
not
out
about
of
the
10.
combat mechanics, so like we said, but what?
I was to say, what would you rate it? I was making a joke. Apparently, Johnathan wants to put down a 1 out of 10.
Yes, this is like one of the worst manga I've ever read, and I am so mad I had to read it.
I give it a 5. I think it's average. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I give it a 5 too. I think it's average. I guess in a way, to put it as Johnathan said, it is generic. It has one good idea that it doesn't know how to use, and I hope someone else uses that idea better in the future.
I think the reason I rated it so low, even though it's so average, it's because it is so amazingly average that it actually becomes abominable.
I don't know. I think if you can like get some fun out of dumb shonen action and like cool art, I think there's stuff to
this is so generic and average that there's nothing at there at all to latch to, and I mean nothing, so that actually becomes a new negative that spirals in on itself and keeps going through the entire series.
You.
Oh my god.
That is actually new for me. I've never seen a series so generic that is actually worse for it.
Guys, I know, Jonathan, I know you could go forever, but I do kind of have to go to bed soon,
I
so
do
I think
too.
we should end this.
Ugh.
Yeah. Alright, folks, that was Hungry Joker. Holy crap, that's a hell of a start to the year.
Fuck this series. Who's the name? What's the name of the guy who wrote this?
Fight me.
Yuki Tabata.
Yuki Tabaka, go back to your day job. I can't even finish a fucking story, and even I can write better shit than this.
Get a writer and just do the art. Because the art was good.
It's not even that good. I mean, it's like generic shonen. It's like
I like how as dark Jonathan's gone on for so long now that he's actually gone back on his whole. The artwork's kind of good too. No, the art wasn't even that good.
I mean, it was competent, but god damn it, there's just so much better you can get from this industry.
Oh
yeah, god, fuck this series.
Oh god. So everyone, tune in next week when we make Jonathan read Black Clover. Goodbye, everyone!
God damn it, if you're gonna make me read that one day, I'm gonna make everyone read Homestuck, and that shit takes weeks.
No.
That series is like, seriously, 8,000 pages long now.
After 2 hours, nothing happened.
Goodbye, everyone!
Oh, God.
Say goodbye!
I can't wait until I have to do another Heavy Storms, because it has to be better than this.